Welcome to the 31 Days of Horror 2020 with another video. And this one, we're going to be looking at a film that, I've said it once, I'll say it again. I have a very, very wide definition of what makes a movie horror. And we are going documentary. And yes, I know you're thinking, well, there's nothing wrong with documentaries. There's plenty of documentaries which would fit into the horror genre. Well, what if I told you the documentary I'm talking about is The Creeping Garden, a documentary about mold, specifically, what do they call it? Not spore. Oh man, what was the name they gave it? Slime molds. Slime molds specifically. So yeah, this is just a nature documentary, right? It'd be akin to saying a documentary about wolves is horror, or piranha is horror, and you know what? They could be, because this film really comes down to how it's presented. And they use music and imagery and words, voiceovers, to really kind of go down this kind of creepy world of mold, slime molds, which are vegetables that are animals. Not vegetable. Well, you know what? Plants that are animals type thing. Not vegetables technically. But yeah. So, the reason why, that's essentially the reason why I'm including it. And it played many horror festivals, oddly enough. The film is put together by two gentlemen, Tim Grabham, who's done other documentaries and such on very odd subjects as well, and Jasper Sharp. Jasper Sharp, you probably should recognize that name. He's what we call in the business a film scholar. I know him from working with a friend of mine who's also a friend of his on a Japanese film festival. Jasper Sharp actually runs a Japanese film festival in England. He's also the author of a book about pink, called Pink Eiga, about the pink films from Japan. It is the go-to resource for it. And Jasper is the man who he tracks down. He doesn't just go to Wikipedia. He doesn't just go to the internet and go, what is this? And pulls out whatever and uses it. No, he goes right to the sources. He tracks down all the, as much write-up as he can about a thing, about, when films were released, who was actually involved, not just what IMDb says. He doesn't, he's one of those, I don't trust IMDb. Does he get it wrong? Yeah, sometimes he may have some errors in there, but he's probably more accurate than IMDb in general. But why do you know of Jasper Sharp? Well, if you buy Arrow video releases, you will find his writings on a lot of the inserts in them. Like I said, he's a film scholar. He knows film. So when he put this together, this is something that slime molds and all that kind of stuff. He got interested in them, and so I guess when you have an interest and you have other people who are interested in certain things, and you happen to be in the film world, what do? You make a documentary. And that's what he did. And it's a creepy thing. Now, there are moments where it gets very, very, documentary-ish. And it plays more towards the documentary style and just telling you information than the horror aspects, where it's like really imagery of slime molds played to creepy music and talking about how they live and they breathe and they move and they they're eating it and they're dying, all this kind of stuff. like I said, you could have a documentary about wolves or piranha or something like that and make it a horror documentary just simply by changing the tone. I mean, tone isn't everything about horror, but it is a good portion of it. And that's why I'm including the creeping garden in in this. Yeah, it's funny. It's there. It's not a subject I'm into. Like, I wouldn't look up anything like a documentary about. I wouldn't look up anything about slime molds normally, but at the same time, it's like, I was pleasantly surprised and intrigued by what I was viewing. Just the whole, I guess, time-lapse photography of these slime molds moving and stuff was interesting. I didn't really know about slime molds per se. I knew about mold and fungus and such like that, but I didn't realize that like this stuff. I guess maybe a lot. If you've seen movies about molds and killer molds, horror movies, maybe they take some of the aspects of slime molds to come about their whole film premise. But yeah, I didn't really know about slime molds per se. So this was very, enlightening, I guess. It was educational, and for that, I definitely give it props. I did find that there were probably missed opportunities because they went. Another thing that Jasper's into is kind of avant-garde music, and there's a segment in the documentary about a guy using computers and slime molds to make musical compositions, and I thought that, wow, it's interesting. It really wasn't any. That's just that's its own documentary by itself, right? Putting it in here just seemed like it was padding. It wasn't really telling me, like, there was so many different types of slime molds, apparently, but they don't talk about all of them. They don't talk about the differences between them. And that's what I would have liked to have seen more of. That's kind of my disappointment. It was like, have this segment on this music thing, but didn't tell me about all the different types of slime molds. Didn't show me all the different types of slime molds. I would have really liked to have seen that, especially in the time lapse with all the moving and all that kind of stuff. I would have liked to have seen the differences and what makes them different. Why are ones classified one way and other ones different? Like, what makes them different slime molds other than just, is it just the way they look? I don't know. I would have liked more of that information in this film, but it's not given. But that being said, I'm still going to give it a 3.5, because they turned a documentary about slime molds into kind of a horror movie, and yeah, you know what? I dig it. I kind of wish more documentaries were presented this way. I probably were more interested in. I'm not saying that I'm not interested in any documentaries, but if I'm going to be interested in a documentary, I kind of want to make it like cool, not just, this is the prey. Like how you see it. Oh, the lion is sees its prey, and oh, he's going. Does will the prey get away? Blah blah. Like, been there, done that. Show me something new. Show me something like slime molds and the creeping garden, right here. That's what I honestly like this. I'm gonna give this a recommend. Unless if you don't want to have don't want to watch a documentary about slime molds, don't bother. But if you're at all intrigued by the idea of a documentary done horror style, give it a watch. There's so much information, like interesting information in here and visuals, that it's very, very cool. And yeah, I'd watch it again. Like, I'd watch it again. I wouldn't mind putting on, just having the slime moldy things, maybe on a repeating screen or something like that. Maybe even just a picture frame or something like that, because like a digital picture frame or something, because it's very, very cool to look at. But yeah, there you go. Have you seen Did you check out The Creeping Guy? I think the only places it played festivals, and then it came out by Arrow Academy. So, did you check it out at any point? Are you going to now? Comment down below. Love to hear from you. Keep everything spoiler free as always. Thanks for watching. More 31 Days of Horror to come. Take care. Have a good one.